questions?
Drew Favka with the Savannah Morning News. Are you going to release the body camera footage? Is that something you plan on doing? And has the family seen the body camera footage of the incident? Family of the victim.
To my knowledge, well, let me answer the first question first. We consider the body cam footage to be a critical piece of evidence in this case. As I've just said, we do not intend and are bound by law, we believe, from releasing that body cam footage to the public at this time. That is not to say that that footage might not be obtained from other government offices. You won't be able to get it from our office as long as this criminal investigation and case is pending. As to his family, I am not sure if they've seen that. That would probably be a question for their private counsel and civil attorneys.
Is that something you plan on showing the family, or?
At this time, my goal and my office's goal is to be as cooperative as possible with the victims of the Saudi Lee family, and should they make such a request to my office, I will consider it at that time.
Dave Williams from WJCL. I got a couple of questions I was just asking, and you can answer them. First question, following up on the family, did you have you talked to the family since the indictment had been in, or I'm talking about the victim's family, during this process? And the second thing is, understand that Mr. Ferguson is currently living in Texas or something. What is the process now as far as extradition or arresting him or bringing him back to Savannah or anything like that?
It's always good to ask me one question at a time. So taking your first question first, you asked two questions. Have we interacted with the victim's family during the process, and have we notified them since the indictment came down? The answer to both questions is yes. Our office has been in contact with the victim, with the family members of Mr. Saudi Lee, and we have made efforts to contact them to inform them of the grand jury's decision, which just came down this afternoon. As to your second question and Mr. Ferguson's whereabouts, once the indictment is returned, a warrant will issue on these charges, and we presume that he'll be picked up. We don't know when. We understand that he does have an attorney. My hope is that he and his attorney will cooperate with our team and with law enforcement so that he can be turned in and answer for these charges.
Something that has come up in the public sphere of this case is the timeline of all of this. This is an incident that took place over 2 years ago. So can you talk about the timeline of when your office received the case file from the GBI and why it took from that time to now to get a grand jury indictment here in this case?
Well, contrary to popular belief, cases involving officers, shootings, and homicides are some of the most difficult cases to both investigate and prosecute, partly because there are a lot of other agencies that are involved, like the Officers Employment Agency, who typically does an IA investigation, the Georgia Bureau of Investigations. We often check with coroner's offices to establish the cause of death. So these cases take a while to prosecute, and this one did. In fact, as it relates to this particular case, we just received information as recent as 2 weeks ago that we needed in order to move forward with this indictment from the defendant's former employer, Savannah Police Department. And so there are a lot of factors and considerations that go into these cases, but I do want to remind the public that there is no statute of limitations on a homicide, okay? And so, as is often said, justice delayed is not justice denied.
Christine, WSAV, do you believe this indictment is something that will prevent further police misconduct possibly going forward?
We hope that that would be the case. Obviously, our main goal in making sure that we indict this case, these kinds of cases, is that we need to preserve the public integrity. And so the real message behind this is that anyone who serves in public office and takes an oath to represent the people, we consider those people, when it comes to criminal allegations, as regular members of the public. And it's important for us to send the message that they are not outside the law. As it relates to police misconduct, It's certainly our hope, and it's been my experience, frankly, that the vast majority of officers that we deal with in this office, they keep their oath. They're good officers. They don't get paid enough to do the job that they do, and we support their work, because without them and them putting their lives on the line each and every day, there's no way we could bring these cases to justice. And the vast majority of the people, men and women in blue that we work with, do a stellar and outstanding job, not just with SPD, but with all of the other law enforcement offices and agencies here in our great county. What happens with future police misconduct is really up to law enforcement. That's a matter of training. It's a matter of resources. And those kinds of questions are outside of our control. But what we can do, we do. And that is to make sure that any violations of the law are brought to justice.
Madam DA, you talked about the body cam as being a crucial piece of evidence in this case. Can you discuss maybe some of the other elements shown to the grand jury that led to this indictment?
I can see why that would be a question of interest to you. The grand jury process is a secret proceeding. Both the evidence that is shared with the grand jury as well as their deliberations. It would be a violation of the law for me to go into what was presented to them and to comment on any further evidence that either was shown to the grand jury or that will be used in the prosecution of this case. Okay. No further questions? That concludes my statement. Thank you everyone for coming out.